Alrighty guys here, and welcome to another video. In this video here, we're going to talk about the sub-rogues playing Venthyr in the raid. So if you are a little vampire sub-rogue out there, this is the video for you. I will show you everything you need to do massive burst and all the stats you're going to pick, the talents which are good for each scenarios, and Soulbinds and everything else. So come along for the ride. So, if you like and enjoy the video here that is recorded by me not wearing any pants, then don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and leave a comment of what you thought about it below. Check out the live stream over on twitch.tv and all the other links down below as well. So, why sub-rogue Venthyr? Well, Venthyr are really good for the sub-rogues here because it brings a lot of on-demand bursts. And it's a bit easier to play than the Kyrian Covenant. However, some people might argue that the Venthyrs are a bit worse, which may be true in some scenarios. In most scenarios, Venthyrs are gonna outperform Kyrians on burst. So if you need a lot of burst in a specific phase or on a specific ad, it could be like the Anduin phase where you get like the big Lich King ad and you nuke that down and do extra much damage to Anduin. So in those situations, the Venthyr sub-rogue is gonna be absolutely... And burst is actually also one of the other reasons why I want to talk about the Venthyr sub-rogues. And if you want to like, Chris, I want to know about the Kyrians. Well, the Kyrians, well, your guide is up next. So stay subscribed, guys. Also, leave a comment down below of what other classes you would like to see next. Is there a class you maybe want to like learn how to play, or is there something you kind of want to see how it plays? Let me know. Also, we're hitting the guides first. So more other World of Warcraft related content coming up on this channel. And we might also have another channel in the works very soon. So don't forget to check that out. So burst and ease of play. It is a lot easier to play the Venthyr and you make a lot less mistakes. And however, I've made a weak aura that works really well for the Kyrians. Or I've edited weak aura so it works really well for the Kyrians. That will be linked as well down below in this video here. If you leave a comment, I'll put it down if you want it. And it will also be in the next video. So ease of play and burst is probably the two best options. And you don't have to swap between covenants every time you play raid and every time you play Mythic Plus. Because in Mythic Plus, you will also play Venthyr. And I have another video on how you do that as well, so check that out. Alright, so building our Venthyr sub-rogue. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna talk a bit about the gear, and we're gonna talk about the legendaries, we're gonna talk about the trinkets and other things here. So let's start at the end here. Here we are gonna take some stats, and agility is gonna be our most important stat, but it is on almost every piece of gear. So keep this in mind here when you are taking your legendary. You will benefit more from having a legendary that do have agility on it. But those are a lot of the times the pieces that also are tier pieces. But with that said, keep that in mind. So when we are picking out our stats, we're going to take verse and crit as the two top dogs. Those are our best secondary stats and are really good. Other than that, we want haste and we want mastery as the two last ones. And if you are funneling damage, you want to take like mastery as the second top dog. You want to go crit. Then mastery and verse kind of becomes equal, but crit is better. And then haste last. For our legendaries here. So the legendaries, as mentioned before, try and take them in a slot that has agility. And other than that, we want to play the unity. In this case, we'll get flagellation, which is really good. And for pure single tide, you want to play Acaris. But if you are cleaving or funneling, final curtain is also really good. Acaris gets a even bigger, like a slight buff in damage whenever you have your forset, but until you get that, which is not me yet, final curtain is also amazingly good, especially for funnel damage. So trinkets is same old, get a file. Passive trinket, the other plaguefall trinket is also really good. Other than that, quantum device is good. It's a bit RNG, but you can get a weak aura that tells you what it does. But the top dog for our sub-rogues here are going to be the Earthquaker trinket from Halondrus. Holy fudge, that trinket does a lot of damage. Chevelle has that trinket, my streamer friend, and I'm having a hard time beating him. That is usually not the case single target. I get my ass handed to me every time in Mythic Plus, but you'll check that out. Also, the cash from, what is it called? The guy from Castle Lafria. Well, Simos. The cash from Simos is also a really good trinket. But when you are playing that trinket, you want to take the wand for single target and the axe if you're cleaving. So... And now to the elephant in the room. Sylvanas. Do you need to go back and kill Sylvanas for a dagger if you want to play sub-rogue? Answer is no. You don't need to, but if you have one laying around, it's still really good for your offhand. So get a Sylvanas dagger for your DR offhand if you have it. If you're farming the Sylvanas band in a few weeks, maybe you could also use that to get an extra dagger and get a damage buff. It will be best in offhand all the way through. 2 are really good if you don't have like a high item level dagger, so keep that in mind. Alrighty guys, let's get to some talents here. So as our sub rogue here, we're gonna play Weapon Master, we're gonna play Shadow Focus, we're gonna play Deeper Stratagem. Right, so why do we play these? We're gonna play Weapon Master because it synergizes really well with our tier sets. Pretty obvious choice there, Gloomblade and Remedis. I'll wait with that. Shadow Focus, more less cost on energy, more abilities, more shadow strikes, more damage, more shadow blades. It's good. Deeper Stratagem, more combo points, bigger finishes, more damage. Yes, that is what we like. And I recommend you take Cheat Death on the 35 row, although that is completely optional. But in any rating scenario, any rogue worth the salt will take Cheat Death, because any rogue will occasionally make only one mistake during every pull. Therefore, you will never die and you will never be the cause of a wipe. Smart. Right. Prayer in the week. We don't have a big extra damage like the assassination rogues have with internal bleeding. So pray on the weak and make sure you stun those targets on, for example, Anduin when you need to kill the ads quick. Help out your teammates. Really good. Also, enveloping shadows are going to be top dog. More shadow dances, more shadow strike, more shadow blades. Dark shadows really haven't been like playable since they took away the one base deck we have on Shadowlands, so that's that. Master Shadows, also really good. With more energy regen and stuff. We're still feeling a bit energy stuff. Like, I'd hoped at this point in time here we could play Night Stalker or a Secret Technique and get some more damage out and trade some of that energy management away. That would have been fun. And for the Soulbinds. Soulbinds here, we are going to take Theotar the Mad Duke. Remember to use that T. If you can keep any T as long as it's not the haste one. The haste one sucks. Reroll that as soon as possible. But ideally you want agility or verse. And for our Soulbinds here, we are going to take a pretty box standard Theotar tree. And I'll say that you can just take the tree as it is. You need 3 potency conduits. You're going to take the flagellation conduit, lashing scars. You're going to take perforated veins. And you're going to take deeper daggers for maximum damage. More of that deeper daggers because you will need to play around that later on. If you don't feel like playing around that, or not the deeper daggers, the perforated veins, you can take Stiletto Staccato or Band Execution. That makes the spec a little bit easier to play, but I'll get more into that later on. However, Stiletto Staccato may be a bit finicky on some bosses, and if you already have your 2 set, it might not be worth, as you will have a lot of uptime. It does take out a little bit of the RNG, so that's really nice, but that's about that. Alrighty guys here. So let us show you how you do your rogue opener and how we can do the most possible damage here. So what we're going to do here is we're going to press Shadow Blade right off the get-go, and we're going to Shadow Strike. We're going to Slice and Dice. We're going to pop our Shadowlands and Symbols. We're going to Shadow Strike a couple more times until we have at least 5 combo points. Then we're going to Flagellation and Rupture. And then we're going to use our unused Trinket the same time we're using Flagellation. Unless you have the cash. Because cash, you kind of want to see if you can get a wand inside your Shadow Dance and your symbols. If you do that, you can actually land a 95k crit with a heroic cash, which is a lot, especially if you have like a burst window on, for example, let's say Anduin. So that is one thing you keep in mind, right? So what we're going to do here, we're just going to try and show you guys here. So we're going to Shadow Blades and Slice and Dice. We are gonna get some combo points here again. We're gonna use our unused Trinket. We got a haste here now. I should have waited here, although the haste one is the one on the opposite side. So I make sure that I drop my perforated vein stacks. And I can. And if I hit 6 in a Shadow Dance, I can use it in there as well. Otherwise, just drop it outside. And then we just keep pumping up our finishes, and we keep up Rupture, and we keep up Slice and Dice. We want to try and keep up Rupture and Slice and Dice outside of our burst window here in Shadow Dance and Symbols. And you can, if you want, Vanish to like get an extra Shadow Strike within that Symbols there. Other than that, the playstyle is just lining up cooldowns as good as you can. If you have the 2-set bonus, I wouldn't worry too much about like the Slice and Dice. So See here we have flagellation coming up. So what I'm going to do now here is that I'm just going to keep going here, right? And waiting until flagellation comes up. I can drop my energy. We can pool a bit. And we can pop flagellation, our burst, and then we can start a really good flagellation and actually get to 30 stacks here. So that is the way you do that. So you see here, I have this little wiggle down here. That shows me whenever I'm going to get like another proc of an extra combo point on the auto attacks, as sub rogues do. They have a passive ability that do that. This is mainly for the Kyrians, so you don't like accidentally like overshoot your empowered combo points, but it's also really handy to maximize the output of your flagellation. Because if you maximize your output on your flagellation, so you can wait like half a second if you see it's coming up and finish on 4, get that 5th in, get that finish in, save a global cooldown, and then you can get more stacks on flagellation. As it's like kind of difficult to hit 30 stacks every time unless you have like a massive haste buff or crit buff at the given time, but that is pretty much how you play your Venthyr sub rogue on single target funnel. It's pretty simple. So well, we go over and we do a finisher and we just press Shuriken Storm and Eviscerate, Shuriken Storm, Eviscerate. If we flagellation, we do that. We funnel combo points even quicker. We make sure we maintain our flagellation. Slice and dice is not necessary to maintain unless you're playing the Stellar Staccato, because the extra combo points is coming in really handy, or the extra procs are coming in really handy there. You can, if the target is alive for long, you can rupture as well. And that is pretty much everything you need to know here on how to play your Venthyr sub rogue. So managing your combo points, not overcapping, and lining up cooldowns is what you're going to be practicing playing the Venthyr sub rogue. Alrighty guys, that is going to be it for this one here. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. And don't forget to check out our partners, Esports Nutrition. They do the likes, they sponsor the Race to World First from Echo, and they're doing really well and will make some great products I'm sure you would enjoy. You can support my content by checking out the links below and maybe trying something out. Also, don't forget to subscribe here on YouTube. Guys, thank you very much, and you remember I told you that I recorded this here not wearing pants, right? Yeah, I weren't kidding. See you in the next one.